So what I did is I went back to polygroups. Now I'm going to tell ZBrush at certain section of this mesh I want it to stay creased. Okay? So I want this part to stay creased and I don't want this to smooth out. So again, Control Shift, I'm going to select a certain part of that mesh. I'm going to turn off my lasso. Control Shift, let go of Shift. Now I have just that one section. Now if you go into your geometry here and hit crease, we're now telling ZBrush, wherever there is a dotted line, I want you to hold that creased edge. So remember to bring back our mesh, Control Shift, click on Canvas. So you notice anywhere here, 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 what's going to happen is ZBrush is going to retain that edge. So let's turn polyframe off and let's start subdividing. Oh, I'm going to put smooth back on because I do want some smooth in here. And start subdividing. So you see I wanted some smooth there, but you see it still retains that nice crisp edge here, here, and here. So now we're getting a really nice mesh. We're getting up there in subdivision levels, getting the thickness I want to do whatever I want. Now, what if that's not enough for me? I want to add maybe some more detail in here. Well, let's walk down our division levels. Let's go back on our polyframe mode, and let's add another face here. So let's Control Shift, let's select this portion of our mesh. Okay? And let's add an edge loop there. So now we have an edge loop there. I'm going to go ahead and hide the green part of this mesh. Okay? And again, same technique. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to Control Mask this all. Control Shift on canvas to bring everything back. I'm going to inverse my mask again. Okay? Which again, Control I is the shortcut. So everything is masked except for that section. I'm going to go to my deformation, go to my gravity, make sure I'm in the Z axis, and let's go ahead and bump this up. So now we got a nice bump right there. Let's see what we look like now. Let's unmask everything. Let's turn polyframe mode off, and let's go ahead and let's walk this and see what this looks like. Yeah, I'm liking the looks of that. And of course you could definitely go in and crease this off, but I actually don't want to crease that off. This is the kind of look I'd be going for right now with this piece. Now to add those other details was really, really simple. Okay, so I'm at about 235,000 polys. Let's divide her one more time. So we're almost at 1,000,000 polys. So what I did was very simple. Is I went to Transform, I turned on Activate Symmetry, and I turned on my radial symmetry, and I'm going to need it in the Z, and let's do 100 and see what you get. So you see what happens now is we're having a stroke. So I'm going to change my stroke to freehand under standard, and we're going to, let's bump our intensity up a little bit, draw size down a little bit, and let's add a brush stroke right here. So you see there's a lot of things you can do. Yeah, that's too many, that's too much. I don't need 100, so let's drop it down to 65 and see what I get now. Yeah, that's a little bit cooler. Let's see what we get with a smaller draw size, more intensity. So this is all you gotta do is just start playing and adding in your own detail. So that looks pretty cool. I'm liking that a little bit. Then of course you can just go ahead and go to your drag dot, bump your intensity up, play with that brush size. So let's make that radio a lot lower, and let's draw out and see. That's cool, but that's not big enough. I want it to be bigger. And that's a little too much, I think. So you see, this is definitely, you need to play as a, just play with the settings within ZBrush. Now the spikes that I got on the side here of my ring here, this was done using another technique that I definitely will make another video to show you that technique that I use for that. I use my grab document from within the alpha palette, because what you can do with grab document is, say I have my mesh here, and if I go to my alpha and I hit grab document, ZBrush is going to create an alpha channel now. So I use the 2.5D tools of ZBrush to create this peak and then use my grab document. So, but as you see, it's really up to you how you want this to look and what feature and what benefit you want. So personally, we could also make my brush size small, hold down the Alt key, and do something like this. So it's really up to you wherever you can take your imagination. So let's add maybe a nice little swirl here, a couple more dots here, here. Let's change our stroke to freehand, and let's add something along here. Yeah, I'm not liking that. So, but there's definitely whatever your imagination come up with now. Use the strokes to play with it. So hopefully this gets you guys to thinking about primitives, because this is the only primitive that you can do some really cool stuff with. Another primitive that is really great to play with is your terrain 3D. So we have this great terrain 3D that if you go down now to your initialize states, okay, you can start playing with the profile of this 3D plane. Really get some really great looking starts to some rock and playing with your initialized state here. So again, start playing with the primitives and play with some of these initialized states. Even your sphere, playing with those initialized states, you might get, some things that you want to get. You play with your coverage, get a nice clean 180, or you want 240, anything like that. So it gives you really nice features to play with before you make it a poly mesh. So again, go ahead, take a look at these primitives to make some really complex tools that are made straight from scratch from ZBrush, like this, and of course like the ring here that I'm actually built using. Okay?